Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 54 of the Run to Hills podcast. This week, we're talking to Charlie Parkinson. It's the second time Charlie's been on the show. So, yeah, it's great to catch up with Charlie again. And we caught up with him quite a while ago, actually, just after his successful and record-breaking Bob Graham round attempt. I've seen his Facebook today. He's back up on the fells somewhere, so I'm not too sure what plans he's hatching for future. But yeah, looking forward to that. But first, catch up with Eddie. How are you doing, Eddie?
Oh my God. I was hoping you'd carry on talking. I was going, oh, I'm so tired today. I've got 2 cups of tea.
Goodness, that is a...
Big miles, big training, a lot of children. Oh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Come on, Eddie, you could do it.
I saw some big Instagram post you did. It was quite epic.
Did you read it?
A lot of text.
A lot of text. Brenda's like, I'm not reading all that. It's way too much typing for me. It's too much text. You're like my kids when they get the homework and they go, I can't read all of that. It's just too much reading. Yeah. Oh, good. I've done my long runs. I thought of you. I was like, I'm not having any of that. A live recording him dissing me saying I wasn't going to get my long runs in. I've done a lot of running. I think my knees are taking a bit of a battering. When we finished our recording this morning, I'm going to have a 90-minute massage, which I look forward to, in the fact that you get to lie down for 90 minutes, but the pain that is then inflicted on my IT bands, they're just gonna, and the lovely lady that massages, she talks the whole time. She doesn't draw breath while she's like inflicting the elbow of doom into my IT band. And then she's like, oh, sorry, is that a bit too much? Is that a bit too much? So I'm like, and you have to wear a mask. And so you're like sweating. I come out like half my body weight, but won't complain. I know I'm going to feel so much better afterwards.
Good.
It's all good. It's all good. Loads of miles, and we're really lucky. The sun is still shining, and I think it looks hot back where you are too.
We're gonna have a mini heat wave apparently. It's quite nice today actually, so I'm not going to complain. I think 25 degrees later, which for up north, that is balmy.
Crikey. What about you? What's news?
Well, the kids, both children are back at school, so and even Rex is out at the moment, so the house is quiet. Yeah. I'd say a better week than the week before. I think just over 18 miles. That's quite a lot of running. Did my 2020 with Neil, 3 times 10 minutes. Like I think I've said previously, I'm not doing the 3 quality sessions. I'm only going to keep it to the 2. So yeah, a bit better than last week, but I'm still struggling. I keep making wrong food choices, Eddie. In a nutshell.
You're going to say then, I'm still struggling. I'm like, where's this going? This is
I just not, for whatever reason, I'm not going to beat myself up over too much, but I opt for easy carbs instead of nutrition. But hey, it is what it is. And I've also got a lot of London Marathon anxiety, but we can
tell me about that. Well, as we said last week, when I listened back to last week as well, and I said, Gary, I'm really sorry I'm not going to come over for London Marathon. You weren't as upset as you were like, oh, great, I can take my GoPro.
Moved on.
Wow. Moved on pretty quickly. If you're not in the London Marathon, they've sent all these sort of 6 steps, haven't they, of how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Which is confusing in itself. And the biggest thing, I think, is the not having a drop bag at the start.
That's fine for me. I'm coming at this from a completely unqualified position. So apologies to anyone in the London Marathon logistics. I can imagine it's a right headache. But, again, don't shoot me down, listeners, if I'm speaking out of turn. But they're saying it's to reduce touch points. They are reducing this drop bag facility which you had, but then I'm not too sure what the expo is going to be, but you still got to go somewhere to drop off a bag, so there's going to be a massive collection of people at some point. And then anyway, for me, what it has created, I don't mind running with a vest. I'm going to do that with my phone and stuff. That's just what it is. That's fair enough. I'm not chasing the time, so I'm not invested from that point of view, but we still have to go to this expo. And then they removed that touch point for me, as far as this drop bag's concerned. But then it's created about 10 other touch points where I need to go back to my hotel after mixing with thousands and thousands of people.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
And then to travel all the way back across London. Anyway, traditionally what I do, I drop my bag off. I travel light to London. I drop my bag in the truck. It would then go to the mall. I'd pick that up with everything I had from my trip to London. I'd walk back to King's Cross, and that was fine. But now I need to go back to the hotel to pick up all my luggage and then travel from Rotherhithe, which is East London, all the way to King's Cross, which, like I say, it's created quite a few touch points by reducing one touch point. And if they were that bothered, maybe don't have this big expo thing, whatever there is going to be, where there's a collection of people.
And also, I thought, as they're saying, only bring one spectator, all those spectators are going to come to the start, so that because people are going to go, can you come to the start, because so I can give you my tracksuit, whatever, and hand you my stuff. Surely that is anyway. My gosh, how do you organise?
I don't know, but great
1,000 people.
Great North Run send out numbers, so it's not impossible to send out numbers to tens of thousands of people.
Well, aren't they sending out the bag anyway with the...
They're sending a bag, which you then need to take to the I'm saying expo. I don't know what it is. It might be literally just nothing there as far as exhibitors are concerned. I don't know what the details of that is, but you need to go somewhere to drop off a bag for it then to be shipped to the end. I can't work that side of it out.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's designed with the runner's best interest at heart.
I'd be a bit cross if I rock up there to this where you drop off your bag and it's just full of exhibits, vendors selling their stuff. And
you're going to get rage. You're going to go around with your GoPro.
Well, I just feel maybe is that the motivation to satisfy
the sponsors
and stuff like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
If it was purely to reduce touch points, then I would personally send out your numbers and kind of keep everything else the same. They're not having paces. You can kind of see the logic in that. So you're not having these kind of swarms of people around, but you've got tens of thousands of people. I know, again, the Great North Run have got paces. Quite a few of my friends are pacing groups there. So it's like all these organisations they're not talking to each other. And maybe people see you can't compare Newcastle with London, but there's more people definitely entered the Great North than the London Marathon.
Maybe more in close space. Great North Run.
Definitely.
It starts on that really narrow bit of road.
Yeah, and it's not stretched out to South Shields anymore. It's coming back into Newcastle city centre. So, I don't know. But like I say, I am just one person. I'm sure
you're very small. You're very small. You'll be fine. You'll sneak through. Get through it.
I just hope I hope it's okay.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Work out your logistics. Preparation. Tell me about Lakeland 100.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is the big news, isn't it? Everybody was on bated breath waiting for the email to come out. And
so did it say in the subject line when you got the email, like, do you remember when you're waiting for when I was waiting for my uni, replies, whether you got into uni and it'd be like a really thick envelope or it would be like just a little piece of paper. Did it say in the email,
congratulations? Yeah. I think you pretty much knew the subject. And I think if you're a 100 competitor, then you had a pretty good chance of getting in. I think the 50s, it was 1 in 3. So there was quite a lot of my friends didn't get in the 50, whether they're going to do the charity place or not. But yeah, it's fantastic. It must be really sad to see social media and lots of people have got the 50 place and the 100 place. So I appreciate there's a lot of people out there who aren't fortunate to get in, but yeah, it's nice. I'm looking forward to it now and paid the money. So I think that's another thing. You've got to be, people are going to listen to this too late. They get the congratulations email, but you need to enter within 48 hours. You need to kind of physically pay the
Crikey, I'm terrible at that sort of stuff. I get emails and I'm like, well, I'll try and reply in a week.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
What else is going on? We've got Dragons back, haven't we? Results. I know it won't, as we're recording this, it hasn't finished. People are actually out on the course. So yeah, well done and good luck to everybody doing that. That is such a good
Someone might listen to it. Someone might listen to it on the Friday when it goes out and they're doing their penultimate day. Yeah. Grit your teeth. It looks like the weather. I feel bad because I said the weather last week. It's Wales and it's raining and they've got the most beautiful blue sky. So they went across Cwbgoch and it was dry because I know that was a worry of loads of people that the wet rock wouldn't be much fun. So, but there was a big fallout on the first day. Okay. I scrolled down found, like the results, DNF. So
Ooh.
injuries, heat. I know the cutoffs are a bit tighter as well this year.
Okay.
And I reckon there'll be another big, when you've done a really big day and it's really hot, really hard to rehydrate yourself when you're at home, let alone then when you're camping and you're outside all night. You wake up, even when you're not doing any exercise, don't you find it when you wake up when you've been camping, you're like, oh, well, I am.
Yeah.
I need tea. So I think today might see another big dropout, but the women's field looks really small, which is disappointing, but hopefully some good racing up at the front, and excited to see how the week progresses. And I love the Montaigne social media, the little videos they make with all the music and that.
Talking about the women's field, actually, I can't remember the stats. There's definitely more men entered the 50 and the 100, but I'm pretty sure they said there's been more women entered than ever before. So that's good. I think it was like 35%. So still not 50-50, but yeah, pretty good. Getting better.
It's a tricky time of year, personally, I think maybe as well, that September time, loads of people, if you're a mum, you're getting your kids ready, going back to school, and also you've just had the summer holidays.
It's a good point with talking about mums. I willy-nilly enter races and kind of commit to doing long weekends away with friends without really much of a thought. But I run things past Lisa, and she thinks about the family a lot more than I do.
It's mum's job, isn't it? I'm always like, Bryn's was like, so what are we doing this weekend? I'm like, honestly, I'm just going to tell you where to go. I don't need to explain to you all the other I'll just tell you where you need to go and who you need to pick up, and I'll just keep the rest of it. I think women are just programmed a bit differently to do that, and that's fine. And boys are good at other jobs, like
it's not fine. It isn't fine, but I'm not really doing anything to change the status quo.
You're going to get absolutely slated. Right, let's get cracking into our interview this week with Charlie Parkinson. Gary, you chatted to him, didn't you, before his Bob Graham attempt, because he'd been a record-breaking ultra runner that had popped up on our radar as he was only 18, and he managed to break the under 20 Bob Graham round record. He will tell us all about it, but he had a great day out on the Bob Graham round, so it was really cool to hear all about his attempt and how relaxed and chilled he is. I'm sure
really chilled out.
So chilled out. He was like lying on his bed talking to us, going, yeah, I just got around it. So here we are. Here's our interview with Charlie Parkinson. We are delighted to welcome back Charlie to our podcast after a successful Bob Graham round at the tender age of 18. A happy belated birthday, because Gary's just informed me you're now the wise old age of 19. Normally we start with where are you, how are you, and have you been for a run today? But I'm going to start with a question before that. As you're 19, would you have wanted to take a penalty for England?
No, I wouldn't have, no.
I don't think anyone would have. Poor guy, he's only 19. But you are wise, and you are showing everybody that at 19 you can do amazing things. So where are you today, Charlie? And have you been for a run today?
No, I haven't been for a run today. I was on a Bob Graham support Saturday night.
Oh, wow.
Leading into Sunday, leg 1 and 2. So I'm still resting from that, and tomorrow I'm recceing the Buttermere Horseshoe. So it's another big day out. So a little rest day today.
A little rest day. Was it a successful Bob Graham round completion?
It was a successful one, which always makes it better.
Yeah.
Was it a excuse me, was it a friend? Or I know on the Bob Graham round group people like kind of call out for support runners. Was it a stranger or a friend?
It was a friend. He helped me on my leg 5, so I returned the favour for him.
That's it, Charlie. Once you're in the loop, you will never get out of the returning favours. That's fun. It's brilliant fun, though.
Tell us a little bit about what's the recce you're doing tomorrow.
So I'm recceing the Buttermere Horseshoe race. So it's 21 mile, 9,000 foot. The race is in just under 2 weeks now.
So that's more elevation than I did at the weekend and a third of the distance. That'll tell you that's going to be lots of ups and then sharp downs. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'd love to know about your Bob Graham round attempt, Charlie. Yeah, if you could. My goodness me, it seems like quite a few weeks ago now. How long is it since you've had your attempt?
Just gone 4 weekends now. Just gone 4 weeks.
Yeah. And have you done the ratification and had the confirmation emails and all that kind of stuff?
I haven't yet. I've just been getting all my times together.
Yeah.
All my splits. I need to send it.
Yeah, get it sent off because then you'll get the invite to the annual dinner. So
yeah.
It's the most important thing.
Gary's so excited about the dinner. You've got to go, Charlie.
Everyone
we speak to, he's like, "Are you coming to the dinner?"
Come to the dinner, yeah. Yeah, I'd love to. If you could talk us through your Bob Graham round, if you kind of remember it, leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, leg 4, leg 5. I love all this kind of detail, Eddie.
Yeah. Well, to start with, on the week leading up to it, I was still a bit unsure on what schedule to set off on. So at the start of the week, I thought I'll go for 22 hours. And as the week slowly went on, I thought, no, let's push it to 21 hours. So I decided on a 21-hour schedule. But I'd said to all my support runners that it's a loose schedule. I didn't really want to stick to it. So and then on the day of it, I think we got up there quite early. We were up there for about 6 hours in Keswick before we actually set off, just walking around. Went to Chippy for some tea before I set off.
That's it, yeah.
Loaded up. And it was quite a weird feeling waiting to set off at the top of the steps because I don't think it had sunk in that I was going running for 20 hours.
Yeah.
Through the night. But setting off, it was a beautiful night. I couldn't have asked for any better weather, really. Nice and clear.
Yeah.
Not too cold, not too warm either. So on leg 1, the navigation was obviously banged on with the weather conditions being good.
Yeah.
I was eating well, drinking well, and I ended up 20 minutes up after leg 1. So I did leg 1 in 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Oh my goodness, that is rapid, yeah.
It's a bit faster than what I wanted. I supported someone 2 weeks before mine who did 3 hours 15, and I said I didn't want to go faster than that, and I ended up faster than him. So,
and how was? I know you said about your kind of pace was adjusting and flexible. How was your crew with that? Obviously, if you're asking someone to do, say, a 21-hour schedule, and then it gets quite a bit spicy, did you have any casualties, or was it all okay?
It were all right. I didn't really put anyone. I had one person who did leg 1 and 2, but the rest of them were only on single legs.
Okay.
Just because I didn't want to commit anyone to double legs, just in case they couldn't keep up. But I was fairly confident in all my team that they would have been able to keep up even on 2 legs, really. But they all managed to keep up really well and kept me going all the way through.
And which way did you come off Blencathra?
I came off Blencathra near enough the parachute line.
Oh.
So I was on the same sport 2 weeks ago, and someone took me this really nice line down the scree.
Yeah.
So I said to my support runners, I said, I'll navigate the way off Blencathra. I took it on myself to say I'll do it. And it managed to work out all right, really. So it misses all the rough stuff out at the top of Horsfell Ridge.
Yeah, cool.
So it's quite a nice route off.
And then, leg 2, what happened then? How did you progress on leg 2?
Leg 2, I set off on leg 2. I wanted to start eating some, I had a sausage wrap. So I set off on leg 2, and when we started going up the climb on the road, I tried to eat that, and it just didn't, I couldn't eat it. And then it just got a bit worse on leg 2. I couldn't eat.
Oh my goodness.
I ended up being sick just at the top of Clough Head.
Yeah. Oh.
So I was just over 4 hours in and I was being sick. So I thought, this ain't going to end very well. I like to have gels as well, but one of my leg 2 sport runners confiscated them.
Confiscated?
He said that I weren't having any gels. I couldn't.
Oh my goodness.
Gels. So after being sick on leg 2, I weren't too bad. The baby food that I mentioned in the last one.
Yeah.
I managed to still get the baby food down, so that was quite good.
Yeah.
So we were all right, leg 2. The sun came up at about 4 o'clock, just before we got Helvellyn. So that was quite a confidence booster that it was like a new run.
Yeah.
A new day. Put the past behind me now. Fresh legs. Let's carry on.
So did he give you a reason why he was confiscating the gels?
I was going to ask that. What happened with the gels?
He doesn't, because he seems to think they sit funny if you have too many of them.
Okay.
Because I put about 4 in each bag for the food for each leg, and he didn't want me just surviving off gels. He was trying to eat some proper food instead.
Okay. And how often were you eating? Did you have a food strategy? I was doing about 4 gels a leg, but I was trying to eat something every, say, 20 minutes, half an hour. Is that similar to yourself?
Well, on leg 1, I did all right. I was eating every half an hour, 40 minutes. But on leg 2, I really struggled to eat. And from then on, after being sick, I didn't really eat any proper food. I had baby food and hula hoops. That's the only food that I managed to eat. My chocolate bars, I couldn't have them. So I was just surviving on whatever I could, really. And a bit of
Yeah. And how was the nav on leg 2? All okay?
Yeah, the nav were really good. I couldn't have asked for anything more from my support. Everything we got were bang on. All the lines were bang on. We weren't messing about looking for any of the double trigs at the end of leg 2, like dollywagging with the 2 trigs.
Oh my goodness me! Yeah, if you got a claggy day, that's gonna be quite cute, confusing up there. Yeah.
Yeah. On Fairfield, I had a little bit of a bad patch going up Fairfield. We were a bit worrying. I was like, oh, I'm only 6 hours in, and I'm already not feeling too good. But going up Fairfield, I managed to eat the sausages. Well, one of the sausages off my sausage wrap, and that kind of survived me to the top of Fairfield. And then I knew I just had a little climb up Seat Sandal then, and I had a little 10-minute rest.
Ross Jenkins, he was an omelette in a wrap, wasn't it? That was his food.
Yeah, there was the person who I had on leg 2. He ran bean and sausage melts. One of my sport runners. He can eat anything. I'm not quite that lucky. Leg 2 were even better. I ended up doing leg 1 and 2 in 6 hours 45.
Oh wow, that
so
is
it
good.
took me 50 minutes up then, so I've made another half an hour on that leg.
Yeah.
And I still felt very comfortable. I was walking a lot of all the flats. I was little jogging.
Yeah.
But all of the climbs, even the slight climbs, I was just walking them all.
Yeah.
So I was feeling really good at dropping down into Dunmail in good spirits.
Yeah.
So I got into Dunmail and I changed my top. And I had a black top on during the night, and I thought, right, we'll get to Dunmail, and I put a red top on, a bit brighter. Hopefully,
for the photographs.
Yeah, lift the spirits with a brighter top. And again, there I had a sausage wrap that I was meant to have, but I couldn't even eat that as well.
It's funny, isn't it? You can eat all this food normally, but on the day with the pressure, whatever it is, it's just the nicest things you don't fancy anymore.
No, I was really struggling to eat. It was quite worrying to start with. As it went on, I was still surviving, so I was doing all right.
Leg 3 for me is probably the least familiar. What was the nav like on leg 3? Because that can be quite tricky.
Yeah, well, I'd never been over leg 3 before my Bob Graham, so I was really looking forward to it. My navigator again were perfect with everything. All the lines were bang on.
Yeah,
couldn't have asked for anything more again. But I enjoyed leg 3 because the sun had just come up. It was a really nice day, nice and clear.
Yeah.
It just seemed to fly by. Really, I had to go on the climb up to Borfell. One of my sport runners turned around and said, "Charlie, do you want to slow down? We might be going a bit fast." And I just said, "I feel fine. We might as well carry on."
Yeah.
But on the climb out of Dunmail, I started to struggle with some pains in my knees.
Okay.
On the inside of my knees. So I was living on paracetamol then for leg 3.
Is that something you've had in the past? Knee trouble, or something that just occurred on the day?
Yeah, I've had problems with my knees in the past, but it's the same pain that I got on the Pendle Way in a day. I got it about 40 miles on that. So it feels a little bit like cramp, and then you realise that you're not actually going to cramp up. It's just a pain, and I knew that I could run through it because I've done it before.
Yeah.
So I just kind of put it back to the back of my head and just thought, right, I might as well just carry on now.
And I'm just trying to think as you progress, and you've got to the kind of the Scarfells. I always ask, how did you go up Lord's Rake, Broadstand, or I forgot already. Is it Fox's Tarn? You've got a few options. Yeah, how did you approach that?
Lord's Rake.
Yeah.
Me and my navigator had spoke about it because he said if he wanted me to, he'd come out to Broadstand and put a rope up.
Oh.
We had a talk about it, and he said that there's not much in it. And I thought, no, instead of if my legs are tired or if I'm not feeling too confident, I don't want to be risking it.
Yeah.
But it ended up like being perfect up Lord's Rake. We were still making time on our schedule. So it was quite a nice route up, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I quite like it.
Yeah.
I like the thought of it, but as soon as I'm in Eddie, I want to get out as quick as possible. It's like
straight into the top.
Yeah, it is funny. And how did you do with what? Because leg 3 for me was quite a long leg. I think about 6 hours, and there was a few points. There was only one point actually I can remember being able to fill water up. How did you manage that kind of thing? Your water? Did you just take loads with you? Did you not carry like 5 or 6 bottles or?
I was really lucky on leg 3 because I knew it was going to be warm. I'd arranged for people to come up. So my team set off with 1.5 litres for me. Somebody come up to Bowfell with another 2 litres for me and all my support because I knew that they'd struggle as well if Excellent. It were really warm. And then I had another person come up to I had one come up to Sergeant Man to start with.
Yeah.
And I had one come up to Bowfell with another 2 litres. So because we knew we were going to be dry, and at this point all the streams were dry, as you'd know from yours.
Yeah. So
we managed to do all right. We managed to arrange for people to come up, bringing water with them.
And the temperature would be rising by then, wouldn't it? I suppose, especially kind of Scarfell, end of leg 3.
It's Scarfell about 11:15.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it was quite warm then.
And did you go flying down the screen to Wasdale?
Well, yeah, we were on as I was dropping down to Dunmail, I could see a team climbing up out of Dunmail. So all the way around 3 hour chasing them. And they just weren't getting any closer. And then we were catching them on the descent. And me and one of my support, I said to him, I'm catching these before I get to Wasdale. Excellent. I've been chasing them all this time, so I managed to just get them before we got into Wasdale.
And how did you feel, Wasdale? That's can be a graveyard for quite a few runners. What were you like then before you head off on leg 4?
Yeah, I felt really good going into Wasdale. Still felt relaxed, like I'd not really done much. I wanted to feel relaxed going into there anyway, but I went into there an hour and 10 minutes up on my schedule, feeling really good. So I just thought, right, I'll just have a breather. And my feet were getting a little bit warm because the temperature was rising and it was so dry. So I had to change my socks at Wasdale, kept the same shoes on, but just changed my socks just so my feet could breathe for 5 minutes, cool them down a little bit. And then it got interesting going out of Wasdale. And I think leg 4 is quite a tough leg. So I went out feeling really good, in good spirits, new socks, changed my hat as well.
I saw your bucket. Yeah, like a bucket cap on. Yeah.
I put my bucket hat on then, like I was running abroad. I set off up Ubarra, and I started to struggle with cramp on the outside of my knees. So I had the pain on the inside of my knees and the cramp on the outside of my knees in both legs. But I put electrolytes in my drinks, this liquid. And I also carry a 10ml bottle of just the Elect on its own.
Okay.
And it tastes disgusting. Wouldn't recommend it really to anyone. But I just ended up drinking that straight and flushing it down with some water, try and get rid of the cramp, which works for an hour and a half, and then you've got to do it again.
Yeah.
So going up Ubarra, I went through a really dark, bad patch. all the way from Newbarrow to, I'd say, Pillar.
Oh wow.
So like a 2-hour bad patch. But when we got to the top of Red Pike, one of my sport runners said I'd already made 12 minutes up on my schedule that I was already up on.
Okay.
To climb, so I was still making time on my schedule in a really bad, dark place. And then we saw the Ennerdale runners coming in the opposite direction. Really took my mind off my round because they were saying well done to me, I was saying well done to them.
Yeah.
So by the time I knew it, I was at the top of Kirkfell, which were really good because I went from a really dark place, and then once I got to the top of Kirkfell, I knew I only really had Gable left, a big climb on the whole round.
Yeah. And even Gable, because I think we chatted about it before on the show, Eddie, that you don't drop down to like lake level or road level. It's Gable is a big climb, but it's in the context of some of the other climbs, it's not actually that big itself. It's just a rocky, gnarly climb. So
it's just a technical. If your legs are feeling a little bit tired, it can make it a little bit harder. But I think because I'd just come out of that bad patch, and one of my sport runners had a fresh mango in a little bag, and that was really nice.
But was it fresh though after all that time?
Well, yeah, it wasn't at the end of the leg.
Puree.
Yeah. So I think by the time I got to the top of Gable, and I knew by then really that I just had to make it home then. Just had to make it back to Keswick in any way that I could. And then managed to just drop down into Honister I'd come out of the bad patch feeling really good then. I sat down in Honister, and I was sat down for about 2 minutes, and because I couldn't eat anyway.
Yeah.
No point in me sitting down, so I just stood up and I said, "All right, we're going now." And everyone was like, "Are you going already?" I'm like, "Yeah," but because I couldn't eat, there was no point in me being there. It was just wasting time.
And what was that like? I was going to ask you about that actually. How much time would you spend on average at a checkpoint?
So I spent 5 minutes at the Threckeld, 10 at Dunmail, 10 at Wasdale, but I'd put down 15 for Wasdale just for a little bigger one. But I just spent 10. And then at Honister, I think I had 3 minutes from coming in to going out. I was just straight through, really. I'd never been over leg 5 either, so that was quite interesting to... I'd heard that it wasn't too hard, and I'd seen on one of the recce's, it was just that one of my sport runners did, that it was 10 mile, 2,500 foot. So if you put it into context with the other legs, it's fairly flat.
Yeah.
So I knew that there was just one really big climb out of Honister up Dalehead, and after that there's not much. So my support runners on leg 5, they didn't really shut up all the way around. They were just talking, taking my mind off it, which were really good.
That's what you want.
Yeah. And then going up Dalehead, once I got to the top of Dalehead, I knew then that then I was on my way home. I was counting the summits down then.
Yeah.
Get to 40, you've just got 2 left. So
when you got on the way to Robinson, sorry, Charlie, but you've got 2 lines you could do like up the Trod, or you can do like the wider path. Which one did you take?
We just went straight up the shortest distance route, so the steeper one, I think it is.
Yeah.
Because they said to me, which way do you want to go? And I said, we'll just go straight up it. It'll get it done quicker, hopefully. Because I was still climbing really well at that point as well. So it was nice dropping off Robinson. Because by then I wasn't really looking at my time. I set off out of Honister thinking I've got 3.5 hours to do this leg and I'll do sub 20. That was still the only time that was in my head. So once we got into the road section, it were 5.5 mile. And one of my sport runners said, "You've got 5.5 mile left." And I looked at my watch and I had 55 minutes to do 5.5 miles to get under 19 hours. Now, I was never thinking about 19 hours all the way around. So when that came into my head, I was kind of chasing it. And then I started struggling with cramping my hamstrings as well. So I was struggling to stride out. We got to the car park on the road section, managed to change my shoes into some big Hockers.
Excellent.
which were really nice. But by this point as well, I was struggling to even drink anything. It just weren't sitting right on my stomach. My stomach felt like it was full. but there were a bottle of Coke there, and I managed to have half a litre of Coke.
Oh.
Yeah, so I couldn't have any water. That weren't sitting right, but this Coke, it just disappeared. And then I was just chasing that time along the road. See, there's a few little climbs on the road, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah.
Which feel like summits. Definitely the first one from that car park.
Yeah.
So I walked all them, and my support runners were running to keep up with my walking. So I was just again trying to enjoy that road section, with also chasing the 19 hours.
It's funny in the context of all those miles that last 5 miles seems to take forever.
Yeah, the longest. It seemed to drag on for a while, especially that last mile from Portinscale. That seemed to drag on for a while. So I think with 2 miles to go, I had 18 minutes to do under 19 hours. So I was working it out in my head. It took me quite a while, but I thought, 9-minute mile in.
Yeah.
It took me longer than I thought to work it out, but I got there in the end. And I would just try not to look at my watch, really, and just run as fast as I can without cramping up or tripping over a curb.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really explain the feeling of how it felt running up towards Moot Hall. I think I was still a bit shocked with what I'd done, how long I'd been running for. I don't think I was quite with it. Kind of the same feeling as when I was setting off about running for 20 hours.
Yeah, it's quite surreal.
Yeah, I still don't think it's really sunk in that I went running for 19 hours. So my mum did the last mile with me. She joined on from Portinscale, and when we got to the avenue, she said, "You've got 4 minutes to do under 19 hours." I said, "I know. I've been looking at my watch for the last 5.5 miles, chasing that time." So that way was quite nice, and a team had just finished 2 minutes before me. So she set off for 5 hours before I set off. Yeah. So she just got under 24 hours. So she had 2 minutes to at the top of the steps, and then.
Oh my goodness! Was that Emma? Was it? I think it may be.
It was. Yeah. So I felt quite sorry for her. She had to move out the top of the steps quite fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a video of me going up the steps, and you can see on it halfway up, both my hamstrings cramp up. So I'm pulling myself up with the handrails to smash that door.
Oh, amazing. Well, and it was the market day, wasn't it? So it was quite a busy time at the market.
Yeah, it was still quite busy. There was still quite a lot of people on the streets, yeah, to be dodging them as well.
And did you get your beer? Did he run out with the beer, the guy? Or was the pub not open yet?
He did come out with a beer. Yeah, it were the night that I set off, it had shut. I think there was something wrong, so they'd had to shut.
All right.
So I didn't know if it were going to be open when I finished, but it were open. I managed to have one sip of it, a little sip.
And how has your recovery been after that?
I was quite worried about the recovery. So I ran on the Thursday after. I went up and went running with a few people that I know, and we ended up doing, I think it was about just over 8 miles on the trails, just over 8-minute mile in. So it was quite fast, and I didn't feel too bad really. And then I went out on the Saturday again and just did 3 miles, I think it was, and they felt worse.
Yeah.
So then I knew I just needed to back off it a little bit. So I've just been trying to just run and trying to stretch the legs out. But last weekend I did Blencathra, the English Champs race, and I had a shocker really. I just don't think I was race fit.
Yeah, no. Completely different kind of fitness as well.
Yeah, so I decided to race again the day after at a local fell race that we have, Edenfield fell race. But I think halfway around that, I decided again that I wasn't race fit, so I ended up just jogging that one round. So it was a good mileage weekend at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think on the sport that I was on the weekend just gone, it were a confidence boost that I wasn't still recovering from it. It just was that I wasn't race fit.
Yeah.
It's quite nice because that's what I thought.
Can you tell us a little bit about the kit that worked for you on the Bob Graham round? Your trainer of choice is always an interest.
Yeah,
to
the
listeners.
trainer of choice was the S-Lab Ultra 3s.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I knew that I wouldn't be struggling for grip because there were no modes really. So, and I just went for comfort over grip anyway on them.
And what were the Hoggers on the road section?
I don't actually know which
Cushioned ones that
some big,
make you bounce along.
Yeah, some big.
They're all the same, aren't they? They're all the same. They're all called different names, but they're all the same, aren't they?
They all look the same and they all feel the same.
And what about your fueling? Can I just are you going to work on improving that? Do you think that was a one-off situation? Because also that will really impact your recovery without having been, because you've had to have dug really deep and got really dehydrated.
Yeah. So I've always struggled eating while out running.
Yeah.
But on recce's, because you're stopping at some of the summits.
So different, isn't it? And you just haven't got that adrenaline.
Yeah, so when you're stopping at the top of the summit, even if it's just for 5 minutes, I've managed to eat a butty.
Yeah.
But when I'm just out running or in a race, I really do struggle to eat. So it's something that I've always struggled with. But I've tried so many different options, and I tried the wraps because I thought they might be a bit better than bread, and even then that still didn't work. I can only really seem to eat solid foods when I'm in a dark place, which is obviously it's not the
doing
best.
That bit's like Coke work though. I mean, loads of people manage to do amazing stuff on Coke, the drink.
Yeah. Yeah, I managed to. I was still, apart from the back end of leg 5, I was still managed to getting liquids down, which were always positive because it was warm. I knew that I needed to drink quite a lot.
I think it was good. We mentioned this quite often. I think after Tom Evans, you problem solved. You couldn't do certain things, but you tried other things. You had the Coke, you didn't think, and like you see, you got through it. My goodness me, with a pursuit with fast time. So I think you kind of worked it out as you went, really.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fall in place on the day. It went perfectly.
Would you want to have another crack at it, or have you got any other FKTs lined up that you are having a look at?
I don't think I'm in any rush to go back for it. Maybe when I'm quite a bit older to see what time I could get on it.
Do you think you could go faster now to put it all together?
I think in a few years I might be able to go a little bit faster. But I'm looking for the Paddy Buckley next year, and then hopefully the year after the Charlie Ramsey. So if I can do them all on back-to-back years.
Very good.
That's the target so far.
And what about kind of normal races? Have you got anything entered? I know you mentioned you've been doing a recce. What's coming up?
So I've got Buttermere in 2 weeks, which hopefully will suit me, with it just being up and down all the way around.
Yeah.
I've also entered the 3 Peaks.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
So I think I'll have to put a bit of speed training in for that. But nothing really. I've not... with it all being pre-entry, I came out of my Bob Graham. I didn't plan anything after it. Yeah. That's the only thing on my mind. So I've come out and all these races started, and they're all fully booked.
Little email to the race director, Charlie.
Yeah. So at the minute, no, I just want to see how I get on Buttermere in 2 weeks, and then it'll kind of show me how I'm doing against everybody else as well, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh, that's exciting. We're watching
we're looking forward to seeing how you're going to get on. Can we finish, Charlie, with our 5 quick fire questions, which I'm allowed to ask today? I've already looked at the first one and I thought it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
You put that one in.
I know, but now I've talked to him. It's ridiculous. I will say them and you have got to answer as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
Are you ready? There's no prize. It's just for our entertainment, really. Okay. Newspaper or iPad?
iPad.
It's that sound, isn't it? Real ale or wicked?
Real ale. But I don't really drink anyway, though.
Well, just a sip, isn't it? It's just a sip.
Yeah.
Someone you would like to go for a run with?
Killian Jonah.
Oh, yeah. Favorite band or artist?
Bugsy Malone.
Gary and I are like, yeah.
Yeah.
Tour de France or Wimbledon?
Tour de France.
Do you watch Tour de France?
I have been, yeah.
Oh, I love it. That is good. It's good to watch that for the suffering.
Yeah, they do dig themselves into a dark place.
Oh, yeah. You talked about digging yourself into a dark place. They do that every day, don't they?
Yeah.
I think
no one would confiscate their gels.
No one would. I think they have more than like half a bottle of Coke, though, as well. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charlie, for coming on the podcast again. You were requested quite a lot to hear all about your Bob Graham round. We loved following you, and we will look forward to following you in the future. Maybe some faster races, maybe some FKTs. And we wish you all the best of luck and work on that fueling.
Yeah.
That's the big part of the future, I think.
Thanks for your time, Charlie, and best of luck. With the upcoming races, we might make it onto the results section of the show, Charlie. What do you reckon?
Cream. His career's done then.
That's it. Sweet. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you for that.
Thanks, Charlie.
Bye.
Thanks, Charlie. That was great to catch up again. Second time on the show, like I said earlier. And looking forward to what he's up to in the future. The joy.
What were you doing when you were 18, Gary? Were you breaking Bob Graham round records?
I was at art college when I was 18, studying art.
Were you really? Where did you do that?
In St Albans School of Art. It was kind of part of the Hertfordshire University umbrella. It was model making, actually. I wanted to be like special effects on Star Wars and stuff like that. That was my kind of did it sort of. Worked on Teletubbies.
And you worked on Teletubbies.
Yeah. No, sorry, what was the next one? Night Garden, in the Night Garden. The one after.
Star Wars in the Night Garden.
I used to make that's a bit too much information about me. I used to make prototype Action Man toys. When Action Man got relaunched, the guy would come back from Hasbro, the toy company, and go, "Yeah, Action Man wants the stealth bomber that launches a motorbike or something like that," and we'd have to recreate that. That was fantastic.
I'm just flabbergasted. But let's go back. In the Night Garden, what did you make?
Oh wow, we did lots of stuff. I'm
trying to think about what In the Night Garden is, because my kids didn't really have BBs because we lived out here, but I know it's like, isn't it a bit mad?
Yeah, it's quite trippy, put it that way.
You're responsible for this.
Well, they just give us some drawings and just props for the program, bushes, vehicles, lots of props. But what would be wicked, you'd rock up to this wood in the middle of the night to drop something off, and it would just be like lit up like kind of fantasy land, and they'd grass it out with turf, so it would be like a real little kind of magical kingdom.
Did your kids then watch it, or is this before?
Yeah.
Then did you say dad made that?
I did that, yeah.
That's so cool. Have you got anything? Did you steal anything that you made?
No, bloody hell, no, I didn't. I made a nice noddy car once. That was good for like a stage show, and that went to France. Actually, I'm pretty sure that went to France. This noddy's like a remote control noddy car, which actually full size is massive.
It's amazing. Could we have a whole show about your model making?
Yeah, it was good.
Upcoming races, what we got?
Well, Great North Run this weekend. I know it's not very hilly, although I think it is quite hilly compared to normal Great North Run. It's looking at the elevation profile, it's an out and back. And yeah, the second half is quite uphill. But Elise is taking part. I saw this on Facebook or Twitter or something. So Elise McColgan will be there. My goodness me, she must be tired. I saw Diamond League, then the Olympics, obviously.
Tired. I know. I know, it's all the travel, isn't it? That you're going from, when you see that the athletes have come back from the Olympics and now they're back competing again, all that travel and the time difference, and then just all the COVID protocols as well. I bet they're not whining as much as you, Gary, about putting one stuff in a bag. But we look forward to I hope she has a great race. What else? You've got something here. You explain that. It looks really complicated.
I copied and pasted. It's the Isle of Wight Fell Running Championship Series. 3 races over the weekend, and I think, let me just move across. So yeah, very busy. I'm not too sure of the format, but There's got a race on Saturday morning, about 4K. And then in the afternoon too, there's a 12K.
Oh.
And then on the Sunday, you've got a 21K. So yeah, very busy weekend.
Oh, that sounds really fun.
Yeah. And nothing, you could technically do the 4K and the 12K in a day. I think that wouldn't be too much of a stretch. Yeah. So it's like a great couple of days out there. And then we got the lap in Windermere.
The lap.
I've never done it. It's 47 miles. So that's quite a big lap because I've done Windermere Marathon and it was 26.2. So I'm not too sure where this one goes. Anti-clockwise around Lake Windermere. Talk about Windermere. I need to book my accommodation for next year's. Oh God,
you won't crazy. Camp. You won't camp. You'll.
Not if the family are with me. No, I think I'll be youth hostel is as low as I can take the children anyway.
Splash out a bit on an Airbnb.
Don't know about that.
Yeah, if you're doing lake any of the Lakeland races, book it now.
Not until I've done mine.
Okay, Gary, well, it's all right. You got time.
But yeah, well, good luck, everybody. What have you got coming up, Eddie? I see hills on the script.
Just wrote hills. I've got a bit of a hill focus in it. I need to run any more hills. A bit of a hill. I've got a hill session tomorrow. I haven't looked exactly at the details, but it looks a short, painful one, which involves power, which I don't seem to have. In my long run yesterday, I had to do these power bits in the middle hour. Yeah. And I was like, come on, legs, this is the power hour. And they were like, yeah, it's not, I wouldn't really say this is power coming out of them. Show willing. That's what my triathlon coach used to always say to me, just show willing, Eddie. So I'll be showing willing. I've got a couple of hill sessions to do for the rest of the week. I quite like the fact I've done my long run for the week, because I try and do it during the week so that I just don't have time at the weekend with the kids. So I'm always a bit smug if I've already done it at the beginning of the week, but then it knocks me out for then the rest of the week. I feel like, still trying to fit in. Yeah, I would prefer to get it done at the weekend. But anyway, got some hill sessions to do, and I'm going to have a little bit more. I'm trying to work out my nutrition for now. And you need to do the same for 100 milers, trying to work out an A, B, and C plan of what will go in, exactly how much carbohydrate I can take in per hour, because I'm really bad at not taking in enough. I will take in fuel, and I'll take in fuel during training, but I definitely don't think I take in enough. I'll probably have 200 calories an hour, maybe 250. Probably about 40-50 grams of carbohydrate. So I want to try and get a bit more in the fact that you can do personally, and it is different. You can do I can probably do about 10 hours on that. Yeah. But I'm looking to go that next bit and to run strong. Really? So I'm going to try looking at different things to take on some more fuel. And I do like drinking fuel over eating, especially when it's quite hot. But but then I'm thinking, but I'm going to be running through the night quite a lot. So I'm up for anybody who's got any suggestions of things that are good to eat. Don't tell me to make flapjacks or anything like that. I don't have time, and I won't do it.
Well, if only we knew a company that made flapjacks.
So I need a big order, Tim, of a load of Chia Charge bars. But I know from when I've done 100 miles before that Chia Charge bars after you need a mixture, don't you?
Because you never know. I think Tom Evans said about solving problems, and you might have all these plans, and you just after 10 hours you think, I've had enough of that.
I don't really want any of that. I'm really lucky. I've booked my crew in already for this 100 miler. So I'm going to be able to give them, I like a salted potato in the depths of the night. I know how to party. So I will be able to have some of that. But I also want to just train my gut a bit more to try and take on a bit more, because as we all know, there's no point getting to the race and then trying to slam down 5 gels an hour. You're just going to feel sick. But it's really individual, and I'm not sure I'll ever be able to slam down 5 gels an hour, but I'm just going to try and push a little bit more carbohydrate into my system, because you can run all these miles and you do all this training, but if you can't absorb the fuel, and I'm long-term looking at UTMB of 30 hours out on the trail, I've got to get better at drip feeding that fuel in.
I noticed.
You know, Lakeland. You know, you're only a few hours ahead of me, probably.
Oh, well, hopefully not. Hopefully I'm done in 24, 23:59. But I noticed, you know, I used to drink, and I still do, the Active Root, which is a ginger-based energy drink, because ginger is supposed to settle your tummy, but the combination of that and Kinder Mint Cake was not doing my tummy any good whatsoever.
And you see quite a lot of people that go to races and have had no stomach issues before, and then suddenly you did, you get stomach issues.
Yeah.
And
the anxiety, though, is that a bit stress for the day?
Yeah,
you're running a bit faster, your effort on your gut. There's a few,
So I am going to do some long runs next week. I've got some long runs at race pace to practice, seeing if I can get that fuel in as well. Yeah. Because what I'm really bad at as well, my long runs, I'll just like have a lovely day out in the mountains, and it's really easy. You stop and you take your fuel on, don't you? I'm like, I'll take a picture, I'll check my emails, I'll eat my bar. Whereas when you're racing, you're like,
yeah. Some people do check their emails and take photographs on their races too.
Disgusting behavior. So that's what I'm up to. I'm going to practice the shoving it in the strategy and see what works, see what doesn't. How delightful. What about you? You got a lot of numbers written down that you're going to be doing.
Well, yeah, on my plan the plan says either the workouts of the week are 3 times 12 minutes, I think off 90 seconds recovery, and then there's the 20-20-20 again, and then there's 3 times 10 minutes, more of a hilly based run with a 2-minute recovery. So I'll only do 2 of those hard sessions. I won't do all 3. And then I might go, if the weather's nice, I might go to the moors one day and do a few miles up on the moors. We'll see. I'm leaning towards a 3 times 12 because that just stretches out that bit of endurance. Now with a 90-second recovery, that is not a lot of time.
Yeah, but you won't be going that'll be just quite nice tempo running, won't it?
Well, it's zone 4. Well, I think I mentioned last week, it's probably going to be mid to lower range of zone 4 because I don't want to be...
Are you pushing that zone lower and lower?
Well, yeah, that definitely. Yes. If a yes or no answer it is a yes, but I just need to... I don't want to be frightened of these workouts. Otherwise, I might not do them. So I think if I'm doing this, then it's...
Consistency. It's all about consistency. And often the people that perform the best in training do not perform the best in races. Nobody wins training, as another coach used to tell me, Eddie, no one's going to be like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to win training all the time.
Yeah, I used to see that quite often if I'd go to big sessions that... people would race you on a say it could be like a 5 times a kilometer, and I'll be quite metronome. My effort should be this, and that's what it's going to be today. And then you'd be having smackdown with somebody, and I'd be like, no, it's not. This is not what it is today. Last
rep's always smackdown though, Gary. Last rep.
No, I don't do that.
I could totally get you up for that. I think this is where I've been going wrong. We've had a couple of nice shout outs in the last few weeks, so we thought we would share them. Sarah Monday, Living the Dream. Hi, Eddie and Gary, fab podcast. I listened to this episode on the final climb of CCC to Tête au Vent and made me smile when you wondered if anyone was listening on the course. Oh my God, that makes me feel a bit teary. Love the mix of guests and your take on the world. Your voices transport me back to the late nights where Eddie will remember I was not a fan of fitness sessions. How times have changed. Thanks so much, Sarah. That made me feel quite emotional. I went to uni with Sarah and played hockey with Sarah. She's a good little hockey player. And now she's running. She's listening to the podcast. She's doing CCC. What a legend. Well done, Sarah. Smashing CCC. No easy feat.
Yeah, thanks Sarah.
So much for your review.
5-star review, everybody.
Oh, 5-star review.
Another 5-star review came from Sweet Feet Pete 99. Oh, well, try saying that 10 times fast. Great podcast by 2 down-to-earth people who seem to share my outlook on running. The person having the most fun wins. Sounds all right, doesn't it?
Person shoving in the most food wins, I think. Sweet Feet Pete. But that was episode 54. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Chia Charge for sponsoring the show. I'm Eddie Sutton.
And I'm Gary Thwaites.
And let's run to the hills.